Hey guys, the Broken Prophet here. Down here yet again from Hoodoo Central, and this is going to be a very short and maybe uninteresting video, and I'll tell you why. Um, it, as you probably saw in the title, we're going to talk about candle dressings and herbs and things like that. And the reason I say it might be uninteresting is because dressing candles is really, really, really simple. Okay, it's really simple. And y'all know I believe in explaining things very practically because I've been doing this for a while and I'm comfortable with it. And that's why I teach things the way I do, because I want you guys to grow more comfortable in your spiritual works. And dressing candles is just so simple, it won't really take that long. So I'll spend more time explaining the methodology or the mental mindset needed when you're working with candles. I'll spend more time doing that than the actual dressing of the candle. Then you'll see it and go, "Oh, that was really pretty simple." Okay. Now, you've probably heard me say this before when talking about candles. The actual active thing that you're working with is the fire. Of course, we know this, right? Now, fire has a dual role, especially when doing spiritual work with candles. We know that fire is kinetic. It is violent. It is a beacon of light. It is a weapon. It's a tool. Okay? Candles not reflect, but they project. All right? They cast away, when we're talking about spiritual work, candles cast away the things that we do not want. Like a flashlight casts away shadows. Okay? In essence, that candle is casting away the shadows that you don't want in your life. Things like doubt and insecurity, things like fear, things like lack of money, things like loneliness. It's driving those away. But on the flip side, candles also attract. All right. When you look at that street light that a lot of us had to use for for a clock to let us know when it was time to come back home. Some of my older folks out here, y'all remember that. You had to be home by the time the street light came on. If you look at that street light, especially on a summer night, you see a lot of things swirling around, a lot of moths and things like that, because they're attracted to that light. So when you're working with your spiritual work and you're using a candle, think of the other side of that flame being it attracts the things that you do want. So that's how the candle works. It repels the things you don't want, attracts the things you do want. You can think about those moths and stuff flying around that light as things like money, things like love, opportunity, growth, confidence. Those little moths that are coming and being attracted by your candle. And when you're dressing your candle, you're just putting things in there as representatives of the things you want repelled and representatives of the things you want attracted. Okay, makes sense? Pretty easy, right? So, when we dress the candle, and for this work, I'm going to actually use a reversible. All right. Now, someone asked me, and I always knock the damn phone down. Someone asked me, what do I dress my candles with? And they were surprised when I told them that a lot of times I don't dress my candle because of what I just told you. I've been working with candles for so long that I just understand that that's what's going on. And so I'll buy like a candle like this, and it's already telling me what's going on. It might be a money drawing candle, okay? So I already understand that that flame, the energy behind it, is repelling things that are taking my money away, and it is drawing new opportunity for money. Okay, so a lot of times I don't dress my candles. I just pray over them and go. Like that little infomercial about the rotisserie chicken oven or whatever. It was like set it and forget it. That's what I do with my candles. I light them and then I go on about my business. But I understand a lot of you do dress your candles. And when I'm working for someone else and I might send them a candle, I will probably dress it for them because they haven't been doing this as long and they need that little extra oomph. Okay, need that extra oomph, so I will dress it, and that's for those of you. I will show you how I dress my candles. Now, first and foremost, I want you guys to get out of the mind frame that society has instilled in you that says more is more. All right, I see pictures of these dress candles and they're laughable. Yes, this is something that's spiritual, but it's also a freaking candle. All right, candles need wax to burn, and I'm saying that to say, if you look here, and I apologize for the lighting, y'all. Um, that this time of day, light always comes through that window, which kind of makes it hard for you guys to see me, and I had to like adjust a few things so you can see me as well as you can now. All right. And I know some of you have sent me messages saying, well, you know what, Prophet, why don't you get a curtain? I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I do need a woman's touch around here. I have like there's like no curtains. You can't even hardly see it. It looks like God is trying to walk through that window. It's so bright. But you see, like right there on the door, same thing, blinds. Oh no, y'all work too much. I'll buy some curtains so y'all can see me better. But anyway, back to this. When the wick, let's understand how candles work now. Okay, when the fire burns down to the wick, it liquefies the wax, and it's drawn up into the wick, and that's a continuous process, which is why the candle burns. I see so many people selling dressed candles now that they have shit piled up to right here. I mean, all kinds of shit. Herbs and roots and ground up dollar bills and all kinds of shit. And it's piled up really high in here. And then some of y'all have bought these sons of bitches. And what happens? They don't burn. Right? And then y'all are messaging me and sending me emails going, oh, Prophet, I bought this candle and it's not burned. I think I'm hexed. You're not hexed. There's just too much shit in your candle. The fire can't get down to the wax in order to burn. All right? So you don't really need a lot. All right? For this, less is more. All right? Less is more. Because you don't want to overload the wick. All right? So, before I start working, and there's a little insight into how I do things, okay, I always lead with the Lord's Prayer, okay? Most of the time, before I do a video, I've already done it. But, for the sake of, like, demonstration, I'll just hold the candle and, of course, bow my head and say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now, y'all, that little part right there, I went to Catholic school like the first few years, because they were much better than public school. So my mom like really bust her ass to put me in Catholic school. My family is not Catholic at all. So I remember growing up, we would pray at the dinner table when I do this shit, and they were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I learned it in school." And my grandma would look at my mom and just, because my grandma's Southern Baptist, and those of y'all from the South know that Southern Baptists think that Catholics are idol worshipers, with the saints and stuff like that. Which kind of makes me wonder about a lot of these spiritual workers who claim to be like from down here, but they work with like a million saints. I'm like, we didn't grow up with saints, Shoot. When we talk about the saints in the church, we're talking about the members of the church. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I pray to like open up. Another thing that I do is I take my shoes off. I mean, y'all can't see it out of just, but I don't have my shoes on right now because I'm doing work. Okay, why do I take my shoes off? It harkens back to the Old Testament when Moses was first called by the burning bush, the voice of God speaking through the burning bush. And one of the first things that bush said to him, take off your shoes because where you stand is hollow ground. And when you're working and when you're praying and when you're meditating, either at your altar or at one of the other altars I have here that I never show, or whether I'm out, even at my Nganga for Palo, I will take off my shoes because that space where you are praying, where you are communing and working with spirit is holy ground. So I take off my shoes. Okay. Now, this is a reversible candle. All right. I really only buy the black and red. If they have the black and green and that's the only one they have, I'll get that, because I believe in just working with what you have. I'd much rather get another color candle than, nothing at all. All right. So The purpose of this candle is to deflect anything negative coming towards you. All right. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be someone throwing spiritual work at you, hexing you or cursing you. You know, if you're that person at your job that people don't like, just having enough people dislike you can hex you. And maybe you're not that person, but think about it. There's always somebody at a job or at a church, a group, whatever, that people just can't stand. All right? And if you start to look, that person's always having things befall them. Not because they have bad luck, maybe they have bad luck, but because just enough people jealous, envious, or disliking you can, negatively affect you spiritually, and these things can manifest physically. So this candle is made to counteract that. All right. The first thing that I'll do after praying over the candle is I will scratch my name. This is going to be for me. I tell you guys what, you guys, like and comment and stuff, and I'll add you to this one. I'll just put like a petition paper under the candle. So I'll scratch my name into my initials. And of course, I always include my friends, people I care about too. I'll put like Ma for my mother. We got, brother, sister, children. And family. And I'll put like double F for friends and family. Okay. Now you won't be able to see that hardly, but I'm mainly scratching initials and things in there. Okay. Simple, right? That is, and I was always taught that the things closest to the wick are the things that you want to attract or protect. Like if you were camping and you heard there was a bunch of wolves out there, you would sleep closer to the fire because that would keep them away. So things you want to protect, you put closer to the wick. Things you want to project or keep away are put furthest away. All right. Now we're going to get to the actual dressing. And I'm keeping this really simple because you don't want a whole lot. And I go to the farmer's market and I buy a lot of stuff. And a lot of you are very hesitant about starting this because when you start and you plan your work, you're like, oh, I'm going to need this. And then you, of course, go to these websites or you buy these books, which conveniently always have an advertisement in the back, right? Because they're going to tell you to use shit that they sell. And then you're looking, it's like, wow, that's going to cost a lot. For this, I'm going to use fenugreek because I want to protect my money. So if anything is coming towards my money, I don't want my money affected. I like nice shit. Using fenugreek will help to protect your money. Of course, a little bit of sage for cleansing. And then I'm going to use mustard seed because the Bible says if you have faith just the size of a mustard seed, you can say to that mountain, be thou moved, and cast into the sea, and that mountain will move. So I'm putting the mustard seed in here just more as a symbol that may nothing befall me that will shake even my faith. Because if it shakes my faith, then it's some big shit, and I don't want some big shit coming my way. But I do want to show you guys this. I get this from the farmer's market. This was $2.94. This sage, 51 cents. This fenugreek, $2.75. And this stuff will go and it will last for a while. All right. You don't have to buy, there's nothing different from sage at a spiritual shop that you'll pay $10 for versus sage from a farmer's market that you get for 50 cents. Sage is sage. All right. It's no more blessed and no more spiritual because you got it from some reported hoodoo shop or spiritual shop than what you can find at the grocery store. Get it where you can find it the cheapest because sage is sage. All right. And some of these folks in this spiritual community, I wouldn't want them praying over my shit. No way. Now, I'm going to put the sage in there. And you see I'm using a tiny bit. You don't want to overload this thing. When I show you guys how much I actually put in there, it's going to freak a lot of you out. Because y'all have been seeing the candles that I've been seeing. There's the mustard seed. And here comes the fenugreek. I love the way fenugreek smells. Now, you see, a little goes a long way. And that's why, you know, the labels on these things are old. Because I had them for a little bit. Now, let me see. Hopefully you can see that. That's it. That's all I put in there. It's starting to roll around. Let me tuck it back in. But that's it. That's all I put. And my candles are fucking effective. One thing that I will add, because it's a reversible candle is pretty much a protection candle, are these little mirrors. And I'll drive these little mirrors into the wax. Reflective side out. Now you can get these little mirrors at, like, you know, Michael's or Hobby Lobby or online. I know y'all will find them because y'all like buying shit online. And there we go. And it'll look something like that. And you see, I mean, it's very sparse in there. You don't want to overload the damn candle. Of course, I'll try to shake everything back towards center. Now, the things I want protected are inside that little ring of mirrors. If you don't have these little mirrors, you can use dimes, use nickels, it doesn't matter. You know, something small and reflective. On the outside, I'm putting like a symbol of menace, a symbol of danger. I'm using snake shed. If you're walking through the woods, you look down and you see snake shed, you know it's a snake around there somewhere. So you'll be more alert, a little bit more cautious. I'm putting this outside because this is what I want to reject. So, because if someone does intentionally throw some shit at me, I want to project a warning back out to them that, you know, that might be as far as you want to come, bro. Again, outside the mirrors. So there, that's a dressed candle for me. Now, let me try to tilt it down. See, there's not a whole lot in there. So when this burns, it's going to burn. It's not all overloaded and piled up with shit to the point you got to, if you ship it, you got to put the little cap on there. No, it's fine. There's actually more in there than I would like. I wish I'd have torn off a smaller piece of sage, but I'll work with it. And that is it. The candle is dressed. Now, since it's a protective candle, I would pray a protective prayer over it. Which, for me, you know, if you haven't gone into your Bible in depth, all right, you can always use the 23rd Psalm. Why the 23rd Psalm? I know you hear that all the time. Because everything you want to accomplish spiritually can be found in the 23rd Psalm. Being that this is a protective candle, a reversible candle, you know, you would pray the 23rd Psalm, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And I'm going to break this down for you. He maketh me to lie down. Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in the green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the face of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. The reason I say you can use this for that psalm for protection, okay, is because you think about the part, and especially right there in the beginning, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. I don't know if y'all know anything about sheep, but sheep are some very timid creatures, All right, they're not the things at the petting zoo that you can walk up to and rub on. No, sheep out in the pasture, the minute they detect movement, boom, gone. Because they know if I wait to see what the fuck is moving, it might be something with teeth. All right, so they are gone. So if you actually see a sheep laying down, that sheep is very calm and knows that it is protected. All right. Also, think about the part of, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Just think about that. The valley of the shadow of death. This is a place that you're walking through, but you're walking through unafraid. Some of y'all could come down here and chill with me, all right? And y'all say, well, Prophet, what are we going to do today? I said, well, we're going to get a couple of drinks, probably hit up, a couple of hookah bars, and then, after that, we'll go walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Y'all would look at me like I'm crazy, and more than likely you wouldn't come. Okay? But this psalm speaks about, even though I'm in this place with this name, I fear not because you're with me. So that is your protection right there. Just that comfort in knowing that the Creator's with you. You've done this work. There's nothing to worry about. That prepares the table before me in the face of mine enemies. People ask me about gossip and stopping gossip. Just a good reversible candle dressed correctly with that psalm can stop gossip. Because think about it. It speaks about preparing a table for you in your enemies' faces. All right? So I don't care what y'all saying about me. Look, I'm sitting here feasting my ass off. Okay? And also, on the other side to that, there's a table right here. You can come try to get to me if you want to. You ain't getting through this table. All right? That my spirit done put here. Okay? So that's why you can use that psalm for everything. Like Cat Williams said, everything. All right. Now, when I light a candle, I always, in the beginning, the Lord created the heaven and earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved over the waters, and God said, let there be light. First few verses of Genesis. Easy, right? And I will set this here. And y'all can throw it if you want to. It's coming back at you. So there. All right? And this video was actually longer, like all of mine, I guess. They're always longer than I wanted them to be. Because I want you to grow comfortable with this. And I'll probably do a separate video on different herbs because you guys keep asking me, what do I use for this? What do I use for that? And I'll probably do a separate video just on herb lore. But really, just feel things out. Things that are green, a lot of times will work good for money. As long as they're refreshing and they're sweet. Things like basil, things like mint, things like thyme or dill. Even cucumber. Okay? Think about, a lot of cucumbers refreshing for a lot of people. And that can be used to sweeten your money. When you want to enhance a situation, sweeten it, like the word I just said. You want to use sweet things. If you need it quickly, you want something that'll pour quickly. If this going to be slow as shit, but you want it more prolonged, then use something like honey or sometimes even molasses. So I'll do a separate video explaining these things, but just see what resonates with your spirit, all right? Because you're not going to use something like vinegar for, to sweeten a situation, right? So vinegar is more to like hex, curse, repel, sour, cause fights and breakups, all right? Same thing like hot pepper, all right? So think about that, all right? So that'll wrap up this video, guys. I am hungry, but I'm not going to eat. I'm starting a 7-day spiritual fast. No food. I'm only drinking this, and those of you who know me know I hate drinking water, mainly because fish fuck in it, so I don't want to drink it. No beer. I'm gonna work on that part, but definitely no food. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I do want to leave you with this. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity to do something great. Okay? Don't worry about the naysayers. I don't care if you decide that you want to be an astronaut. Today is the day that you start making it happen. You got a do-over. When you woke up this morning, leave yesterday behind. Yesterday, last week, last year, leave it all behind. I see a lot of you dwelling on things that you have no control over. You cannot go back and change the past. But when you open your eyes, you can form the future into however you want it to be. All right? So don't worry about it. Don't listen to the naysayers, because you know you've opened your eyes and you're a whole new person. That person you were yesterday doesn't even exist anymore. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that to think about. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm listening to a little LaShawn Pace, drink a little water, and then I'll stop this video. Because this is a song that I listen to when I've got people telling me, oh, you used to do this and you used to do that. And I'm like, that was then, homie. This is now. Okay? And it's always people that have been around you for a while. You would think that people that are around you would be the ones to boost you up, but they're usually the main ones telling you what you can't do, right? But look at it like this. When Jesus went back to his hometown, all those people were like, wait a minute. We were waiting on this prophet to come here, this great prophet that worked miracles, and you just marrying Joseph, little boy. Get on out of here. And he couldn't do miracles. Right? We read that part of the Bible. We have the audacity to feel bad for Jesus because he couldn't do miracles. Feel bad for the people who, through their lack of faith and belief, couldn't have miracles done on their behalf. All those blind people, all those lame and crippled folks, they couldn't be helped. And that's how you should feel. You can doubt me all you want. It's just going to hurt you. It ain't hurting me because I'm going to move forward. All right? So if you got people in your ear about what things that used to happen, just play a little LaShawn Pace and keep it stepping. All right, y'all. I'll give y'all a couple of seconds of it, then I'm cutting this video. Thanks for tuning in.